It's now been over a week since the final show for Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, and it's still very much in the headlines, but not for the reasons we would want it to be. So just what the hell is going on with this mystery bands that got booted off the bill? Okay, quick recap. Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath's final ever show took place on Saturday 5th of July at Villa Park in Birmingham. It was streamed worldwide, raised over £140 million for charities, and has generally been lauded as one of, if not the greatest heavy metal show of all time. Logistically, it would have been a nightmare to put together just for the sheer amount of bands and coordinating all of the different schedules to put the bill together. There were bands who wanted to play but couldn't, such as Judas Priest, and bands that dropped out, such as Wolfgang Van Halen. But intense speculation keeps growing as to who the mystery band is that Sharon Osborne booted off the bill. Now, as far as we're aware, this band was added to the bill and booted off before the lineup was announced, but that's not been confirmed yet. But Sharon Osborne felt very strongly about this when she first spoke about it. This is what she said to Metal Hammer in the lead up to Back to the Beginning when asked, "What do people get wrong about you?" I had a huge to-do with a manager over this celebration for Ozzy and Sabbath, and it was probably the worst way I felt in years. And I don't care what this person says about me, thinks about it, because he doesn't know me. And he's now going around making up bullshit lies because I threw his band off the bill. I don't care what people say because, do you know what? I don't love them. I care about people who love me, what they say about me. You can't care what an industry says because you don't love them, so how can it hurt you? It doesn't. Metal Hammer would go on to say that they knew that there was issues with Iron Maiden in the past. I love Iron Maiden, it's just the singer because he was so horribly disrespectful, but if you're going to take Ozzy's money and play before him every night of a festival, this was back at Ozfest in 2005, and you're bad-mouthing him to the crowd, you've got to pay. So I had him pelted with cans of baked beans that were open and cut his sound. Then asked if the mystery band booted off the bill was Iron Maiden. Oh god no, Ozzy only has respect for the guys in Maiden, and he didn't even know what Bruce was doing. I never told him until the night that it happened when it was the last show, and he just looked at me and goes, "You're terrible." Following this interview, Sharon would then say this to Billboard: "After the show, I'll let everybody know who it was. I think people will be shocked." And so now we have a bit of a frenzy about who the hell this band is. So let's start with who it isn't. Well, first off, Iron Maiden, as you just heard. Kelly Osbourne also confirmed it wasn't Megadeth. Judas Priest had plans with Scorpions and did a great cover of War Pigs paying tribute to Sabbath, so that's very unlikely. We then get into Motley Crue and Soundgarden. Motley Crue have a huge history with Ozzy, and many thought it was odd for them to not be making an appearance in some sort of capacity. Nikki Sixx addressed this on Twitter, saying the band had health issues, and then followed up with this: "Ozzy and Sharon gave us our first real big tour in 1984 on the Shout at the Devil tour. They gave us the opportunity to play in front of Ozzy and actually, in my opinion, broke the band. Ozzy Osbourne, congratulations on an amazing career and what a badass send-off. Thank you with love." Now, Soundgarden have put out this statement, and they of course were originally on the bill but quietly dropped off as it got closer to the event. "Congratulations to Black Sabbath on the grand and final pealing of their Vesper bells. Thank you for an outstanding career that provided us and your legion of fans with a lifetime of beauty, horror, love, power, happiness, melancholy, and a profoundly sublime yet viscerally rocking transcendence informed by both doom and hope. Your majestic brilliance has inspired greatness in scores of other bands, musicians, and songwriters. However, the crown will forever remain yours. We are grateful to Tony, Ozzy, Geezer, and Bill, as well as Sharon Osbourne and music director Tom Morello, for the honor and invitation to Soundgarden to perform at Back to the Beginning Festival. We are super bummed and regret that we were unable to coordinate the schedules of our individual and collective projects to attend and contribute to the festival. The warmth, love, and support from Black Sabbath team has been a continuing source of encouragement and strength throughout our career. And so this is now where we're at with the whole goddamn thing, but I just find it really strange that Motley Crue and Soundgarden would put out those statements a week or so after the event. It does feel like there could be an element of damage control here, but until Sharon reveals who it is, the speculation is just going to continue to grow and grow. Another potential name that has been raised, perhaps not as much as Motley Crue and Soundgarden, but not ruled out yet, is Gene Simmons. But it's perhaps not the most shocking name that Sharon alluded to in her interview with Billboard, so not too sure on that one. I suspect we may never find out who the band actually was, but at this point, given everything that's been said around this, it would create such a massive pile-on to whoever that band is, so I suspect it would create more problems than it would solve. Honestly, I am content not knowing who it is. I think the fact that they raised over £140 million for charities isn't being talked about enough by more mainstream outlets, especially when you consider that Live Aid raised about $100 million in the 80s. Of course, difficult to take inflation into account, but you think of just how big Live Aid was, and the fact that this show raised £140 million off the back of a paywall stream without broad mainstream support is just such a phenomenal achievement. So, no answer to who the band is, but we do know this about Ozzy. He's going to be releasing his memoir called Last Rites in October. The synopsis reads: Last Rites is the shocking, bitterly hilarious, never-before-told story of Osbourne's descent into hell. Along the way, he reflects on his extraordinary life and career, including his turbulent marriage to wife Sharon, his encounters with fellow Hellraisers Slash, Bon Scott, John Bonham, and Keith Moon, the harrowing final moments he spent with Motorhead's Lemmy Kilmister, all alongside his reflections on the triumphant Back to the Beginning concert streamed around the world, where Ozzy reunited with his Black Sabbath bandmates for the final time and raised $1 million for charities. So who knows? Maybe we'll find out more in October. For more from Primordial Radio, simply hit the subscribe button or listen to our radio station 24/7 at primordialradio.com.